All right, here we go into lesson 5.3, a short one on the derivatives of inverse functions. So why does this fit into the grand scheme of our calculus story? Well, we just got done learning about ln of x. We're going to eventually learn about derivatives of e to the x. They're inverses of each other, so it's a perfect bridge. We're going to review just inverses really briefly, and I've got some good practice exercises too at the end of this whole journey in this lesson. So let's start. It says, we're going to start with the domain and range of blobs. What? Well, basically, let's say that you have some function f of 9 equals 2. So what does that mean? It means if I plug in 9, I get out 2. So here are like all my x's. All right, here are all the x values. F takes 9 and spits out 2. That's what f of x does to 9. All right, so maybe not even think of that as, well, yeah, let's think of that as x's, and these are the y's normally. So what does f inverse do? Well, inverse undoes everything, right? It sends you back to where you started. So f inverse of 2, would send you back to 9. So we write that as f inverse of 2 is equal to 9. So the y values on the original function f become the x values on f inverse. And the x values on the original function become the y values on f inverse, right? Because your input was 9 and then the output was 2. Now your input is 2 and your output is 9. Everything switches. That idea of x and y switching is very important to understanding what's going on in this chapter. That's it. So again, as I said, the main idea, as long as a function has an inverse that is a function, so as long as f inverse is a function too, then their x and y values will switch. And technically it doesn't even have to be a function, but let's not dive into that. I'm just going to keep it at that. So x and y switches. That's the main idea. All right, let's keep going. So this says the graphs of inverses are symmetric about y equals x. That makes sense, right? Here's y equals x cubed, this graph right here. Here's y equals the cube root of x. They are inverses of each other. And lo and behold, let's pick two values and show that their x and y values switch. Well, let's see. If I've got the value at, I don't know, let's go to like x equals 2, right? So that's right here. X equals 2, and that's on the inverse, on g of x. Well, that means that at y equals 2, we'll have the same y value, right? Will now be the x value here. They'll switch. So this is the point roughly, and I'm approximating here. 2 comma, I don't know, 1 point, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like it goes up by 5. So like about 1.25, roughly. So let's look over here. Where's x equals 1.25, roughly? Oh, roughly there. Roughly, look at that. And so we've got the switched x value and y value. Now, are those the perfect values? No. I want to be very clear. I'm approximating 1.25 and then 2. But you see the x and y values switch. All right, but that doesn't prove that these are inverses of each other. To show that two functions are inverses of each other, we have to show that f of g of x is equal to x and that g of f of x is equal to x. In other words, that if we plug x into f, take the result, and then plug that into g, we should get back to where we started. And the same thing goes here. So with the blobs, I start out at x equals 9, I go to 2, the inverse sends me back to 9. We always undo each other. Okay, so it's actually not that bad to do. We'll start out with this one. So that's f of g of x would be the cube root of x. Oh, well, f of the cube root of x, that would be then cubing whatever's in there. So now I've got cube root of x. Oh, very nice. Cubed. They undo each other. We get x. Great. So that's good that way. Let's check it the other way. This would be g of x of x being x cubed. That is then equal to, well, g cube roots things. So the cube root of x cubed. And that is equal to x. So since the composition going both ways is equal to x, then we're in good shape. And that's it for the review. That's all. So I want to do a really quick video on the review of it. We'll have some more practice exercises on that at the end of this lesson. We're going to get into the derivative in the next video, and I can't wait for it. Peace.